Okay, so let me share you my goals that I wrote in January 2022. So I clearly do not have 200,000 YouTube subscribers, but yeah, I feel like just having that big goal really challenged me to think about how I could become the person who is able to reach that goal. Okay, last video of the year. Let's go. At the end of the year, I always like to think back. What happened this year? What did I learn? How did I grow? And in this video, I'm gonna share my top lessons from this year. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you do, leave a comment. And I'm also curious to know what you learned this year, so share below. So the first lesson of 2022 is that it's okay to pivot in business, even if you feel like you're throwing everything away that you've done in the past in your business. I have made a couple of videos about pivoting, but this year I think one of the big things that I did that I was super duper scared to do was transitioning from my business coaching business and my calligraphy business into doing more content creation, which is more I feel like it just aligns more with what I want to do in the long term. I still am doing calligraphy though, as kind of I just do it on the side, and I enjoy doing it still, but it's not the main focus. And with the business coaching, I pretty much quit that, and that was actually really hard for me to do because that was my main income source for all of COVID. And for me to kind of say, okay, now I'm just gonna not do that. I'm gonna do what I wanna do and pivot into content creation. I felt like it was kind of me throwing everything away that I built in the last 2 years. And it was so hard for me to build that business. And now I'm saying, okay, I'm just gonna not make money from business coaching. I'm gonna let it go. And I'm gonna do this other thing. So it was really hard for me. Yeah, I struggled a lot with it, but in the end, I think now that I'm not doing it, I'm really happy. It's not like I hated it or anything. I did love it, but it just wasn't, it's not what I want to do in the long term. I did love it. I love all my clients. I do want to meet all my clients in person one day, but I just feel like content creation and being a more general creative entrepreneur, and I want to try out other business ideas as well. So quitting business coaching really was able to give me space to do that. And I did start an Etsy shop this year, which I talked about more in this video. But yeah, I just it was so nice to be able to let that go. It was really hard, but then now I feel like I'm a lot more happy and motivated in what I'm doing in my business. Oh, I also did get monetized this year. So thank you so much for following along and watching my videos and being a subscriber. But yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights of this year. I do want to share one book that really helped me make the decision to pivot. And that was the book, P.S. You're a Genius by Kelly Track. And I'll link that book below. I highly recommend it if you are in the middle of a career change or a business pivot. Okay, and the next lesson is it's okay to make super duper big goals, but then not reach them. Because the most important thing isn't that you reach the big goal, but it's how much you've grown and how much you've learned in the process of trying to reach that big goal of yours. Okay, so let me share you my goals that I wrote in January 2022. The first one is I have 200,000 YouTube subscribers, and I'm making $10,000 a month from passive income. So I clearly do not have 200,000 YouTube subscribers, but yeah, I feel like just having that big goal really challenged me to think about how I could become the person who is able to reach that goal. And I feel like I have made so much progress on YouTube this year. Yes, I got monetized, but I think the whole pivot thing, I feel like I want to create content that feels good to me and is what I am passionate about. And so I feel like the kind of person who has 200,000 subscribers is a person who makes content that is really aligned with them. And so I think this year I took a huge step in that direction, which I'm really proud of. Okay, and then I do have a couple of other goals, but one I wanted to share with you publicly on YouTube is I have lived abroad for 2 to 3 months this year and tried the digital nomad lifestyle. So with that one, I didn't really go abroad, international, across the ocean, but when I add up all the pet sitting I've done this year, it is actually I think it added up to 2 months. Yeah, it definitely was 2 months or like 2.5 months when I add up everything in total. So yeah, it's kind of cool how like I was able to reach that goal in the sense of like I could try the digital nomad lifestyle, even though it wasn't abroad. I think like if I didn't have this goal, I wouldn't be able to think creatively and think like, oh, I can actually travel without paying for accommodation and I can still try and be a digital nomad. So yeah, I think like when you think about goals, like it is great to have big goals and you shouldn't be disappointed if you don't reach them. It's great to have a big goal because it challenges you to become the person who is able to reach that goal. And that is something you should be proud of yourself for. The next lesson I learned is that it's okay to try out things and then decide that they're not for you. But it could also be the case that they are for you. So this year I did try a couple other kinds of side gigs. So I tried pet sitting so I could travel more. I made a couple of pet sitting videos, but it was a little bit of a disappointment that they didn't do well on my channel, but that's okay. I tried it. I started to make TikTok videos for a period products company called Isle. So that was another side thing. I also tried to deliver for Uber Eats for 1 month. Honestly, that was the one I just hated. Like it was okay, but I just don't like driving to places where I just don't know the roads, and especially at night. Like I just don't like it, and I hate parking as well. So that was like one of the new things I tried, and then I decided it's like not for me at all. The pet sitting, I think it was okay. I really enjoyed it. I love the travel aspect of it, but I don't think I'll do it a lot in Vancouver. But I think if I am traveling, like I still am open to doing pet sitting. It's actually like a really good way to save on accommodation. And then with like creating TikTok videos, I think that is actually something I really do enjoy. So that one actually turned out quite well, and I learned a lot about TikTok. So that one that one actually really worked out. And then the other thing I tried this year that was new was starting an Etsy shop. And at first I was kind of like, I'm not sure if it's gonna work out, but like in the first month and a half, I made 17 sales from strangers. And then I was like, wow, like this could be a thing. Like, so actually now me working on Etsy is like my full-time thing. My YouTube is more like my side passion project, I would say. Like I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to make money from YouTube because I just feel like it's not enjoyable that way. Like I really just want to talk about the things I want to talk about and make the kind of videos that I want to make. And to have that pressure that YouTube needs to make money, it just does not make it enjoyable. So YouTube is more like a passion thing, but in the future, I do want my audience to grow. It would be amazing to like have a bigger audience and be able to like impact more people, and also to make money from YouTube as well as one of my income streams. The next lesson that I learned this year is it's okay to do everything, even though people are telling you to niche down. So I think like this happened after I pivoted into doing more content creation and YouTube, and I was basically making videos on a lot of different things. Yeah, like if you take a look at my channel, there's kind of a lot going on, and I know it could be a lot more niche, and that would actually probably help me grow my audience faster. However, like I'm just the kind of person who likes to do everything. Another thing I discovered this year is the Enneagram, and I am a type 7, the enthusiast, who's like the person who just like does a lot of things, like interested in a lot of things. Yeah, I just feel like me doing all of these things and talking about all of these things, like this is the kind of business and the kind of content that I want to create, even though it goes against like traditional business advice to niche down. And I know that if I just do what I love, I'm like interested in a lot of things. Like I know it's going to work out in the end. And now I don't feel bad about talking about so many different topics because I know that this is me. The next lesson I learned is that it's okay to let go of people in your life and to make space for people who allow you to be more yourself and people who like give you more energy. Like there are some friends that I've been friends with for a really long time, and I just feel like when I'm with them, I just don't feel like, it's just like sometimes there's a lot of negative energy, and I do want to be there for my friends when they're like going through a rough time or whatever, but I do have to set boundaries. I can't always be open and available to those people who they're not uplifting me. It is hard to have that balance, but this year I learned that it's okay. Like, even if you've been friends for a really, really long time, but if you feel like the friendship isn't supporting you and it's more like, I don't know, I guess like draining you, then it's okay to put some distance in between you and those people. I'm not saying you should ditch your friends, but I'm just saying it's okay to put some distance in between you and them. So I'm super curious, what is the biggest lesson you learned this year? Let me know in the comments. You might be watching this video because you are super big on personal development, and as we head into the new year, I want to encourage you, if you don't already, journal. Like, journaling is such a good way to keep track of your progress, like with your goals, and just like if you jot down things and then in the future you look back, you can see how much you've grown. So if you haven't journaled yet, check out these videos on how to journal and how you can really use journaling to grow as a person, and see you next year.